The royal hall of the Aurelian Empire shimmered with molten gold light, its crystalline pillars pulsing in slow, regal rhythm. Princes, warlords, and nobles from every star cluster gathered in uneasy silence as the shockwaves of defeat echoed through their domains. No one spoke aloud, but every pair of eyes betrayed the same question. How could a mere human recon unit tear through an empire's front line? High Princess Rose Aurelian, 26 years old and bred for strategy since childhood, stood rigid beside her throne. Even her normally unreadable composure flickered with disbelief. Her empire had fought the Zervax, the Ashhaden, and the Arklan swarms, and survived every clash with glory. Yet today, they had been forced to retreat by only 12 humans. And among them, the one name that kept surfacing like a nightmare was James Carter. Rose inhaled sharply, recalling the battlefield recordings. The smoke, the silence, the sudden red flash of human kinetic fire carving through armor like paper. The way James moved not like a soldier, but like a force of nature compressed into flesh. Across the hall, Emperor Callus slammed his staff down, cracking the polished crystal floor. "Explain it!" he roared. "Explain how the most powerful empire in this quadrant lost to a scouting party." A shiver ran through the gathered nobles. General Varak stepped forward, armor scorched and one horn snapped in half. His voice trembled, shame threading every word. "My emperor." They were not ordinary humans. A murmur rolled through the room. Varak continued. "Our scouts underestimated them. We saw their light gear, minimal armor, and assumed they were inexperienced. Children even, and?" Rose demanded, her golden eyes narrowing. The general swallowed. And then James happened. Silence thickened. Varak projected a hologram. The room dimmed, and the burning plains of Soria 7 appeared. The video shook. Captured from a soldier's dying helmet feed, a squad of humans stood calmly in the wasteland, small compared to towering Aurelian soldiers, fragile compared to exo-armored elites. But James, he stood ahead of them. No helmet. No fear, just a cold, assessing gaze that made Rose's pulse skip without warning. An Aurelian artillery cannon fired. Shells streaked toward the humans. James didn't dodge. He simply moved one precise step, one controlled motion, and punched the core of the shell. It detonated mid-air in a fireball that scorched the sky. Gasps echoed in the hall. Varak's voice cracked. "Our armor cannot withstand those blasts." Yet he destroyed one with his fist. Another noble stepped forward. "Humans do not possess such power. Our intelligence says this human did." Varak growled. Another clip played. James sliding under an enemy mech, lifting it with unnatural strength, and hurling it into a ridge like throwing a stone. Then the final moment, the one Rose had already watched a dozen times. Trying to understand it, James, surrounded by Aurelian elites, stood calm, breathing softly. He didn't attack first. He waited. And when they charged, he didn't hesitate. Movement surgical, silent, efficient, no wasted motion. No cruelty. Just absolute dominance. The feed ended with the camera falling, blood splattering the lens, and James turning slowly toward the viewer. Toward them, the hall remained. Breathless. Then the Emperor whispered the words the galaxy would soon fear. "Humans evolved." Later that night, Rose stood alone on her balcony, the tri-moons of Aurelian reflecting softly across her hair. She replayed the footage in her mind, especially the moment James spared a wounded soldier rather than finishing the kill. Strange, brutal, strength paired with mercy. That combination didn't exist in any known species. As she pondered, a voice drifted behind her. "You look troubled." Rose froze. She turned slowly. And her breath hitched. A human stood in her royal chambers. Not just any human. James Carter. He wore no armor, no weapons, just a simple recon uniform, dark and lightly torn from battle. His posture was relaxed, neither aggressive nor submissive, just present. As if he belonged there. Rose's heart pounded, but she kept her voice steady. "Security should have vaporized you before you got within a kilometer of the palace." "They tried," James said. "They're sleeping it off." "Sleeping?" Rose echoed. He nodded. "I'm not here to fight." Her brows furrowed. Then why infiltrate my palace? James studied her with quiet intensity. Because your empire isn't ready for what's coming. Rose stiffened. We are the strongest force in the quadrant. Not anymore, James said softly. You encountered 12 humans. A recon unit. No enhancements. No heavy gear. Rose felt her blood turn cold. 12 unenhanced humans did that? She whispered. James nodded. And we didn't come to conquer you. We came to warn you. Rose took a step toward him, despite herself. Warn us of what? He hesitated, then looked directly into her eyes. The ones who experimented on us. The ones who pushed humanity to evolve. They're coming for you next. A tremor ran through her. Why tell me? Because, James said, your empire fought us with honor even when you thought we were weak. And because you were the only one who didn't look away in the recording. Rose swallowed, suddenly aware of how close they stood. So what do you want from me, human? He took a slow breath. An alliance? And time. Rose stared at him, at the scar along his jaw, at the quiet exhaustion beneath his strength. For the first time in years, she felt something unexpected call on respect, and something else she wasn't ready to name. You terrify my people, she admitted. James sighed. We terrify ourselves sometimes. A soft laugh escaped her despite the tension. You destroyed 3 battalions. I spared who I could. That almost makes it worse, Rose whispered. They stood in silence beneath the alien moons. Finally, Rose extended her hand, a symbol no Aurelian royal had offered to an outsider in centuries. If this alliance is real, she said, then we stand together against whoever is coming. James looked at her hand for a long moment, then clasped it gently, his touch surprisingly warm. It's real, he promised, and for the first time since the battle. Rose allowed herself to hope, because if 12 human scouts could shake an empire, then together, maybe they could save the galaxy.